For centuries, humans have gazed at the night sky, wondering about the celestial bodies above and their movements. But did you know that over 2,000 years ago, the ancient Greeks created a device so advanced, so precise, that it could predict the positions of the planets, the phases of the moon, and even solar eclipses? This marvel of ancient engineering is known as the Antikythera Mechanism, and it's often called the world's first analog computer. Our story begins in 1901, off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera. A group of sponge divers made an extraordinary discovery in a shipwreck dating back to the 1st century BC. Among the treasures they found were several corroded bronze fragments that would puzzle scientists for decades. It wasn't until the 1970s that the true nature of these fragments began to be understood, thanks to advanced imaging techniques. What emerged was a device of stunning complexity, with gears and dials that seemed impossibly sophisticated for its time. So what exactly was this device? The Antikythera Mechanism was a hand-powered mechanical device, about the size of a shoebox. It consisted of a complex system of at least 30 bronze gears housed in a wooden case. The front of the device featured a large circular dial with 2 concentric scales. The outer scale represented the 365-day Egyptian calendar, while the inner scale represented the zodiac and the months of the ancient Greek calendar. On the back, there were 2 more spiral dials. One predicted solar and lunar eclipses, while the other tracked the cycles of the Olympic Games. But the real magic happened inside. When the user turned a hand crank, the gears would rotate, moving pointers on the various dials to show the positions of the Sun, Moon, and the 5 planets known at the time: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Now you might be wondering, how did the ancient Greeks create such an accurate model of the solar system? The answer lies in centuries of astronomical observations and mathematical calculations. Greek astronomers, building on knowledge from Babylonian and Egyptian sources, had carefully tracked the movements of celestial bodies for hundreds of years. They noticed patterns and cycles in these movements, which they called periods. For example, they knew that the moon's phases repeated every 29.5 days, the synodic month, and that eclipses followed a pattern that repeated roughly every 18 years, the Saros cycle. The real breakthrough came with the work of Hipparchus in the 2nd century BCE. He developed a mathematical model of the moon's motion, including its elliptical orbit and the precession of its apogee. This model allowed for much more accurate predictions of the moon's position. For the planets, the Greeks used a system of epicycles, small circles whose centres moved around larger circles, to explain and predict their apparent retrograde motion. All of these cycles and models were ingeniously encoded into the gear ratios of the Antikythera Mechanism. For instance, one set of gears reproduced the 19-year metonic cycle, which allowed the device to coordinate solar years with lunar months. Imagine you're an ancient Greek astronomer. You want to know where the planets will be in the sky 6 months from now. Instead of doing complex calculations by hand, you simply set the date on the front dial of the Antikythera Mechanism and turn the crank. As you do, dozens of gears inside the device start to move. The pointers on the front dial rotate to show the positions of the Sun and Moon in the zodiac. On the back, spirals track the longer cycles of eclipses and Olympic Games. In just a few moments, you have a complete picture of the sky for your chosen date. It's like having a mechanical planetarium in a box. The Antikythera Mechanism is more than just a remarkable feat of engineering. It represents the pinnacle of ancient Greek astronomical knowledge and mechanical expertise. It shows us that the ancient Greeks had a deep understanding of the cosmos and the mathematical skills to model it accurately. Moreover, the device challenges our perceptions of ancient technology. It's often said that the scientific revolution began in the Renaissance, but the Antikythera Mechanism suggests that the seeds of this revolution were planted much earlier. The complexity of the mechanism also raises intriguing questions. Was it a one-of-a-kind device, or were there others like it? Who had the knowledge and skills to create such a machine? And why was this technology seemingly lost for over 1,000 years? The principles behind the Antikythera mechanism didn't disappear entirely. They resurfaced in the intricate astronomical clocks of medieval Europe and in the mechanical calculators of the 19th and 20th centuries. Today, we can see the legacy of the Antikythera mechanism in our modern planetarium software and astronomical simulations. While we now use digital computers instead of bronze gears, the core idea remains the same: using mathematics and mechanical or digital models to predict the movements of celestial bodies. Even after more than a century of study, the Antikythera mechanism continues to yield new secrets. Researchers are using cutting-edge imaging techniques, like X-ray computed tomography, to peer inside the corroded fragments without damaging them. In recent years, these studies have revealed previously unknown inscriptions and functions. For example, we now know that the device could also predict the colour of lunar eclipses. There's still much to learn about this ancient wonder. Who knows what other surprises it might hold? As we've seen, the Antikythera mechanism stands as a testament to the ingenuity and scientific curiosity of our ancestors. It reminds us that the desire to understand and model the cosmos is a fundamental part of human nature, spanning across millennia. From the intricate gears of this ancient device to the powerful computers of today, we continue to push the boundaries of our understanding, always reaching for the stars. The next time you look up at the night sky or check a weather forecast on your smartphone, remember the Antikythera mechanism. It's a bridge across time, connecting us to those ancient Greek astronomers who, like us, sought to unravel the mysteries of the universe.